Ricky Hatton's final career win almost caused post-fight row against furious boxing star. The late Ricky Hatton enjoyed some bittersweet moments in the ring over his tenured career, likely none more so than his final victory in the squared circle. Having shared the ring with the unbeaten Floyd Mayweather before the end of his career in boxing, Ricky Hatton had rebounded from his devastating knockout loss to the icon with a pair of victories to set up another blockbuster clash. In employing the Grand Rapids puncher's father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., during the tail end of his career to serve as his head coach, Hatton prevailed under the tutelage of the esteemed head coach. In his final night of success in the ring, Hatton proved far too much for a future world champion, who almost rode with his corner post fight. Throwback: Ricky Hatton, retired star who beat Floyd Mayweather's uncle in one of boxing's biggest upsets. Ricky Hatton schooled Paulie Malignaggi in dominant finish. In what would come as the final victory in his career, the late Hatton would keep hold of his championship gold for the last time, too. Pitted with emerging New York talent Paulie Malignaggi in another trip to Las Vegas, where Hatton had brought with him a 30,000-strong traveling crowd of UK support for his fight with Mayweather, the Stockport star would turn in a dominant performance, stinging and hurting the IBO and the ring light welterweight title challenger Malignaggi over the course of the clash. In the 11th round, Hatton recorded a stoppage win, with Buddy McGirt throwing in the towel, saving the challenger from more punishment. Reeling away and scaling the ropes in celebration, a post-fight row almost ensued between Malignaggi and McGirt, with the puncher, who is described as furious, with the stoppage, shoving his head coach away as officials entered the ring. Ricky Hatton admitted to overlooking Manny Pacquiao. Off the back of his victory over Malignaggi, Hatton would score another high-profile outing in the ring, putting his light welterweight crowns on the line against the iconic Manny Pacquiao in 2009. Latest news: Manny Pacquiao shares emotional tribute to brave Ricky Hatton after legend's tragic death. Once more making the trip to Sin City for the blockbuster, Hatton was flattened with two notable knockdowns in the opening round by the razor-sharp Pacquiao. In the second round, however, Hatton was sent to the canvas courtesy of a massive overhand from the Filipino puncher, suffering a devastating knockout loss. A year removed from the pairing, Hatton admitted he had likely overlooked the challenge of Pacquiao before describing the historic kingpin as a great fighter. Anthony Joshua was dropped in sparring by future rival in a preview of his brutal knockout 8 years later. Anthony Joshua will have had a 2016 sparring session running through his mind as he was repeatedly floored by the world heavyweight champion 8 years later. By 2024, Anthony Joshua was getting back on track following back-to-back losses against Alexander Usyk. One of the all-time greats handed Joshua just his second and third losses of his career, becoming the undisputed champion at the expense of the Olympic gold medalist. He bounced back with 4 wins in a row, including over Francis Ngannou after his fantastic debut performance against Tyson Fury, to set up a blockbuster British affair with Daniel Dubois. It was not the first time they had met in a boxing ring, although Joshua would like to forget both of their meetings. Read more. Anthony Joshua rips Tyson Fury in scathing attack as he challenges him to grudge comeback fight. Anthony Joshua was dropped in sparring by Daniel Dubois years before their fight. Joshua may have clashed with Dubois in his last fight in 2024, but his first taste of the power in Dynamite's gloves was all the way back in 2016. The pair sparred together at this time, when a young Dubois was trying to break into the Team GB squad and was brought in to train with the recently turned professional Joshua. Rumors of their sparring matches were told over the years, but Joshua confirmed what happened in the build-up to his clash with Dubois during a pre-fight press conference. The former world heavyweight champion was asked if he had been dropped by Dubois, to which he confirmed that he had been cracked with a good shot by the young heavyweight. But we sparred hundreds of rounds in it. This was not the last time this happened, as Joshua was dropped by Joey DeWejko before his fight with Andy Ruiz Jr. However, things got much worse for Joshua when he finally fought Dubois for real. Daniel Dubois repeated history when he knocked out Anthony Joshua in 2024. Despite having his chance to get back at Dubois, Joshua was once again humbled by his younger opponent when they battled in a world title fight. They battled in the All-British Clash at Wembley Stadium on September 21st, with Joshua attempting to get back on top by taking Du Bois' IBF heavyweight belt from him. However, it was the champion who had the last laugh. In a dominating performance, Du Bois knocked AJ down an astonishing 5 times, completely outclassing the former world champion. That IT was a fierce flashback to their previous sparring encounter, showing that the shot Du Bois cracked Joshua with all those years ago was not a fluke, but a preview of things to come. Had Joshua departed from his course, he could have altered the knockout yet to come, but instead, he tasted the pain of defeat against Du Bois that night.